Welcome everybody to this edition of CPaaSAA Talks, where I talk to Viktorija and Mikko from Infobip and Nokia about the recent partnership that these two companies have announced and the impact that this will have on, let's say, network APIs, software development, applications, use cases in this exciting new time where CPaaS and network APIs are starting to work more and more together. So, welcome, Mikko, Viktorija, on this CPaaSAA talk. And let me start by asking you to do a little introduction, a short introduction. Viktorija.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Rob, for having us here. It's very nice to talk with you here together with Mikko about this partnership that we have announced. So I'm Viktorija Radman from Infobip, working here already for 5 years and totally dedicated to network APIs and APIs that operators are providing. So my role is Telco Business Director globally, meaning that I'm really somehow building relationship with the telco operators, and this is globally on the network API space. This is what I have been doing for last 5 years, but my whole career, so the last 20 years, I am in a telco space, and that's why I think I do very well know the telco way of working, how they are doing, and what kind of business they want to do in order to monetize their networks.
Great. Thanks for that introduction. It's really great that you went from telcos to more the software layer, if you will. Mikko, how about you? I think you did a different route.
Yes, first of all, thanks for having me here. It's a pleasure to be with both of you and discussing about this interesting topic. I'm Mikko Jarva. I was born and raised in Finland, but I've been expatriate for the last 20 years plus. And the last 5 years I spent here in Silicon Valley. I'm based in Santa Clara, California. And what I do, I head a portfolio and architecture for Nokia's network monetization platform business unit. It's a business unit that we set up about a year ago to spearhead the programmability and monetization of the networks for applications. I've been with Nokia for last 6 years. Before that, I was with a Finnish IT and software company called Comtel, which was acquired by Nokia. And then even longer than that, I've been thinking about, okay, what do we do with the programmability of the networks? How do we bring value creation and the promise, especially of the 5G, into the applications and enabling new type of applications and services? So after I joined Nokia, I moved here to Silicon Valley to head a solution incubation and technology incubation group within Nokia. And one of the main incubations that we had then was the idea of network as code, which is making the networks very consumable and accessible for application developers in order for them to utilize the power of 5G network capabilities. So I find that the IT perspective, the software perspective, actually brought a good perspective. Then how do we make the networks programmable, easy to be consumed by developers and enterprises within the applications? And of course, what has happened in the CPaaS market has greatly shown, the model how this should be. Now you want to do the same for 5G network capabilities. And our incubation on that area then led us to set up the new business unit and, of course, into this very interesting and promising partnership with Infobip. So glad to be here.
Great. Thank you. Great to have you here. And you've also been involved with OGI and Project Camara, right? The recent years already.
Yeah, that's right. We've been involved more intensely and intimately with Camara now for an open gateway for about a year. I'm personally part of the Camara board and kind of looking into from the commercial and investment point of view, how do we develop the Camara projects and the directions. And Nokia is also very strongly involved in the Open Gateway. As a matter of fact, in Mobile Congress in Barcelona a couple of months back, we hosted I think the first proper Open Gateway hackathon in the developer conference that was in there, and we use Nokia's Network as Code platform as the platform for the hackathon. So in terms of the Open Gateway, it's great that there is such an initiative and momentum in the market, and we are also trying to bring the practical goods to support the Open Gateway initiative, including the platforms and the assets that can be utilized to explore how it will bring value for application enterprises.
Yeah, because there's
Yeah,
still a bit of work to
Infobip
do there, I think. Yeah, I was going to ask
Infobip
Victoria.
is
So Infobip has been very
yeah,
big in Open Gateway as well, bringing
yeah,
some
already
of the first use
from the
cases to
first time,
market.
I think. Yeah, from the first time Open Gateway is mentioning, I think that we are the part of it together with the GSMA and all the telco, because Open Gateway as such is an initiative driven by GSMA, but it's a telco world. So all the telco, the main telco that are willing to be part of the network APIs, they are part of Open Gateway. Together with them, in the different kind of working group, we are discussing new use cases, new countries to come, because today I think that we have 17 different APIs that are part of Open Gateway, and now we are discussing what next to come. What are the use cases that we think that are still not part of it, but are as well important, and there is a market need from it. Because apart from talking with telco, of course, Infobip is having the big client portfolio, which of course are we talking with, and we are trying to discover what of those APIs that are already on table, or which of some other APIs that they are seeing a need for it, we need from the telco side. And that is something that we are bringing to the table on Open Gateway part. So to discuss what are the markets need more than what telco can bring, because telco can bring anything they have in their network. They are sitting on the plenty of golden data set, and if they will not really collaborate with each other and thinking about what market needs, again we will create a big mess. But this is what with Open Gateway we all try to avoid, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really
I totally
spot
agree.
on. Yes, I agree with that as well. I mean, for value creation, we should be looking into the valuable capabilities, use cases, and consumability that the market needs either now or will need in the future, and use that as a way to direct, activities. For example, what are the APIs that from the networks we need to bring into the consumer of those, the application developers and enterprises, and how that consumability should be done. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's really important. I'm really happy. I mean, we're of course also working as an alliance with GSMA, with Links Foundation on these important topics. We have our working group, and so I was really pleased to read the press release a couple of weeks ago about the partnership. And now, of course, my big question is, what's that partnership? What's that going to bring? What does it look like? What are you going to do differently? Because of course everybody's already partnering in this ecosystem in certain ways. We've seen some serious partnerships, I would say, like Vonage being acquired by Ericsson a couple of years ago. I'm really curious how you, Nokia and Infobip, are going to work together in a different way now, to bring these results, let's say, to market and to help the operators and the developers. Who wants to go first?
I can start, of course. So what we see from Infobip side, of course, Nokia is seeing some other benefits because they're taking care about some other parts of they are more into mobile network operators network side. They are the one building the APIs. They are the one putting those APIs to the market. But Infobip, of course, is having the C+ platform and the clients and developer community that we are talking with, and of course putting those APIs to market and really solving some problems and challenges that the market is having with APIs that Nokia is bringing from telco world. So what we are seeing from this partnership, of course, Infobip is strongly believing that partnerships are really important, because especially in those new ecosystem, in those new products where we cannot solve all the problems. It's not possible. So the partnership with Nokia is something that we will for sure benefit. I assume Nokia as well. We're already seeing a lot of positive, let's say, movements after just this announcement. And of course, it's very, very easy to announce something and sign the agreement. But the point is that we should really deliver something, that we should work on the end short-term and long-term strategy and our vision, how to put some benefits from that partnership that we just signed. So this is what we are trying to do. We are trying to create some very specific use cases together. Nokia will be the one exposing that APIs to us and to our clients. And of course, we are talking with the client side, which are the different kind of verticals from enterprises, ride sharing, and different, that to solve their challenges. This is like a very short-term strategy to create 2 or 3 use cases where we will jointly create the whole ecosystem, meaning the APIs that Nokia will bring from operator side, and Infobip CPaaS platform will bring simplicity towards the client and enterprise side. And when it comes to long term, I mean, probably we will need to have another session in a year or something, because this ecosystem is just, and these products are just developing, and it's good that they are developing very fast. And if you're not here, we will not be there in a year from now. So, and it's still, of course, we don't know what the future is really bringing. But if we are starting with something small, the use cases that now we are talking about with some specific countries, specific operators, then we will not be able to talk in a long-term strategy. But I do hope, Rob, really, and Mika, that in a few months we will be able really to present you even the case studies from those, let's say, conversations that we are now having with Nokia, which are very much into this new space as quality on demand, device location, and APIs that were not previously part of this mobile connect story, or something that is already here for ages, like SIM swap detection or number verify something. So this new use cases is something that we are trying to focus at the moment, to bring something and that everyone can see there is some value from it. And then if you build something, then the rest will be able to follow, as we are following someone else as well. So yeah.
I'm glad to hear that you have this short-term approach, because we have our event, of course, coming up in September. So I'm hoping that we'll have our next conversation then. But then on stage, Mikko, do you think also that things can move so quickly?
I do definitely. I think what we should show in short term is the value that this partnership provides, and the value that a partnership provides for enterprises, application developers, and how it enables new type of applications and use cases. So in short term, we want to show that with case studies, with pilots, and with actual applications that get transformed or are enabled by adding of the 5G or 4G based advanced network APIs into the applications. And I'm just want to reemphasize again, we are very happy with partnering with the leading player like Infobip, and just like Viktorija, we've seen very positive communication and sort of inbound communication from the ecosystem about the partnership, that is happening, and the promise of that. And a little bit more on the long-term reasons why it's very important partnership and strategic initiative for us is that the motivation for us is that, of course, first of all, we want to expand the ecosystem of programmable networks. And Rob, you were kind of earlier alluding to that. In that ecosystem, there is you could say the supply side or the partnerships with the service providers. But of course, what drives the ecosystem is then the demand side, the applications, the enterprises, the new type of experiences which become possible when the network capabilities and programmability becomes part of the application. So expand that ecosystem, expand the possibilities, expand the market is one of the main drivers for us for this partnership. The other one is then the accelerate of the use of the network APIs and accelerate the realization of the use cases and applications which become possible with such as an expansion. And then, of course, for Nokia, always one of the main motivation for our network programmability initiative has been the ability to bring also more income to the telecommunications industry. So our theory and motivation is that if we can create more demand for the networks, then of course our customers and partners on the service provider side benefit, and everybody benefits, if we can bring better monetization for the 5G networks and the investment of such. So those are the kind of a strong long-term strategic initiatives that and motivations that we have for this partnership, and really looking forward in September to have something more to talk about the actual new use cases and case studies that we can enable.
Yeah, I think this is spot on. When I talk to operators, our members or not members, everybody's sort of asking about these new use cases, right? Where's the real money
Yep.
going to be made, and not just replacement revenues, like you see a little bit on the anti-fraud side, but really new things that can be done. And we've all heard about drones, but I think everybody is anxious to hear about new use cases, right? And that's sort of an open question where we need to experiment together as an ecosystem. We need to do these proof of concepts and these trials because the enterprises don't really know what's possible and the network operators don't really know what's needed. And I think that's why we need to close that loop and go more into an innovation mindset with more experimentation. But that's something that operators don't always feel comfortable with, right? A lot of people I talk to at the operators are looking for numbers and the business case and how can I fill the spreadsheet to prove that we're investing now in the right things, right? So, Mikko, you have of course a lot of operators that are clients that have been clients and customers, partners for years and years and years. You mentioned already that there's a very positive feedback that you're getting on this partnership. How do you see um, that mindset, that discussion, let's say, changing, and what's the impact of the partnership on those discussions that you have?
Well, the positive feedback that we get about the partnership is the understanding that the realization that we can expand the ecosystem. So our partners, the service providers, which are gearing up and are enabling their network programmability, they are looking for actual demand and use cases and ecosystem to consume those capabilities. So they see this as a almost like a game changer or a really great potential to do that. Then the other thing is exactly is the new use cases and applications that it enables. And already from our talks with Infobip, we know that there are customers of Infobip which will have to expand and have need, to use the network APIs. So not only expanding the ecosystem, but powering and enabling new use cases. Those are kind of the feedback that we hear from the service providers that we are engaging with. And of course, we have a multiple joint customers or partners within the service provider space. So service provider who are existingly already work with Infobip, and they are happy to hear that we have partnered now. And yes, we are again expanding the ecosystem and possibilities in the use cases. So that's the kind of the nature of the feedback that we are getting. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. So it's clear that there should be a lot of value in this partnership for the operators, because you're bringing them, let's say, the line of sight towards more revenues, right? Which is important. Viktorija, I mean, you have a long experience in working with developers for your CPaaS platform, forever. Do you see what sort of feedback do you get there? Are they starting to be more and more interested in the possibilities that these open networks can provide?
So nowadays, when we entering this open gateway ecosystem and open gateway operators that are talking there, so till now everyone was focusing on the enterprise clients. So what enterprise clients need, etc. Now, of course, we are seeing developers as the one stream of how to get those APIs to market because they are the one building whatever application needs, etc. Infobip has a very big community of developers. We are organizing two big conferences, shift conferences, one in Miami, another one in Europe. And this is the first year where we are presenting network APIs on the developer ecosystem and to them. So I still don't have some very big insights or feedback from them, because we are just starting to talk with them. But the thing is that they are listening and they are seeing some use cases that they can replicate to their own businesses that they are building towards their clients. And that is important. So when we talk to them, it's important to get some interest from developers. They're usually talking with some kind of different words than we are, and a totally different kind of conversation that I am used to. So for me, it's always like, come on, how to create some great use case and a great story for developers to understand. And the point is that they are starting to understand, which is very important. We see the interest, they are listening, and they're trying to replicate, they're asking the questions, which is already important. So this year in September, there is a Shift conference in Zadar with more than 5,000 developers attending. And there we will have present everything related to network APIs, Camara Open Gateway, together with the operators, GSMA, Camara projects. So after that, probably I will have more insight from developers that I will be able to share. But for sure, they are one part of the ecosystem that we need to target even more than we did till now. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. That's
I
also
mean,
my experience inside. No, go ahead.
sorry, what I wanted as well to say, I mean, till now, I mean, with operators, of course, you know that we have more than 800 direct connection with the operators globally. And till now, Infobip was more or less bringing the monetization over the SMS. So we were bringing then the money of the SMS that we were selling. But of course, and all these clients that we have, the big one, are consuming SMS towards Infobip. But what they want now, when we talk about the conversation, CPaaS, etc., is not anymore enough to send SMS. They want to have secure SMS. They want to have better demand. So to be sure that this SMS or any kind of different communication is delivered. If we talk with the banks that are making the money transaction, again, this transaction is communication between bank and the end user. It's not, of course, SMS or something, but it's a communication, and they want to have a secure and the protected channel that they are talking with their end clients. And this is something what we are bringing, and to client side and to developer side, for them to understand that this is really possible.
Yeah, I think that point is really important, right? Still, there's a lot of explanation to be done. I see that in our alliance as well. There we have members that are completely on top of network APIs, but we also have software developers and contact centers and other technical organizations, also the hyperscalers that don't know all that's possible with network APIs. So bringing that discussion together and having those sort of brainstorms, also with the, let's say, ISVs and system integrators that have their own mindset and thoughts, is so important at this stage.
I agree,
Mikko,
Rob.
how do you see how does that? I'm going back to where we sort of started, right? When I said you have an IT background, but now you're working for a, let's say, a technology company that delivers platforms to telcos. How do you see these two worlds getting closer together? So the
That's a
IT
great
world of
question.
programming and
Yeah.
experimenting and startups and scale-ups with the operator mindset where it's more of a let's build it and then exploit it for 5 or 10 years.
Yeah, that's a great question. I think I used earlier the word consumability. I think that's the key point actually that we need to enable to help power the next generation of application, and through that way digitalize the use of the networks, and through that way bring them those two worlds together or so. For Nokia and for our initiative, and maybe that's one of the reason I get to influence that initiative, was bringing the kind of a software perspective and consumability perspective into the network. That was very important. So our inspiration for Network as Code platform and our setting up of our business unit, and earlier the incubation of it, didn't come from the network world. It came from the IT world. So we look into, for example, what are the most convenient way of doing infrastructure as a code on top of clouds, and then say, okay, can we use the same kind of an approach for networks? So So really, it's to changing the mindset, reversing the perspective from sort of a network up to the developer in kind of a perspective, or developer,
Right.
how the developer should be looking into the network and how they should consume the capabilities within the applications and so forth. So yeah, our aim is really to bring these two worlds together, and that one is through convenient use case driven consumability of the capabilities, which is inspired more through the IT and cloud way of doing things than the network doing way of doing things. Of course, what is very great about the networks is the predictability, robustness, their high SLAs and so forth, and those bring value into the application, but they need to be consumable the way that you consume things in the IT world easily by services as code or as no code or so. So
I think it's exciting times ahead. I look forward. Thank you very much for this conversation. I really look forward to having you live in Amsterdam in a couple of months, and maybe before, if there are use cases, we'll do another talk online. Um, yeah, as I said, I think this is a great cooperation. It's a great partnership. We need more of these collaborations in this space to accelerate the development and the innovation. And I really like what I heard so far today. So thank you very much for your time here, and look forward to talking again soon.
Thank you, Rob, for having us.
thanks, Rob. Nice to discuss with you, Victoria.
Thank you, Mikko. Same here.